We don't need to work as much. We don't need to work as hard. And it has saved us tremendous amounts of time and energy. We have simplified so that we can amplify and magnify our results and our impact. Welcome to Plenty. I'm your host, Kate Northrup, and together we are going on a journey to help you have an incredible relationship with money, time, and energy, and to have abundance on every possible level. Every week, we're going to dive in with experts and insights to help you unlock a life of plenty. Let's go fill our cups. Hello, we are bringing it home today. This is episode 7 in a 7-part series that we've been doing about feeling good with money, being good with money, and doing good with money. So, this whole series has been about expanding your capacity to feel peace, prosperity, and pleasure. What we know is that making good money alone does not make you good with money. But the lessons I've been sharing in this 7-part series are part of that equation. They're a critical part of that equation. And today we're bringing it on home with 7 lessons that we learned from our highest revenue and highest profit year yet. And that was in this past year, 2024. We came in just shy of 3 million, which was our highest revenue year ever in business. And we came in at 31% profit, which was also one of our highest years in profit ever. I really want to say, if you're a business owner and just if you're out here in the world paying attention to revenue numbers and like how many, how much cash months people have, people are like, I had a 30K cash month. I had a 33K cash day. I had a whatever. That's all wonderful. And like, I love a celebration of big money. However, the money that matters is what you keep. Revenue doesn't mean shit. Okay? I know so many people who have multi-7-figure businesses who don't take anything home, where there's zero profits, because making more money is not the whole picture. And certainly the online money coaching world and the online entrepreneurship world reinstates and deepens the illusion that what matters is top line revenue. And it just doesn't. I would much rather have a $500,000 a year business or a $200,000 a year business with 50% revenue margins, right? Keeping 50%. So on a $500,000 a year business, that would be keeping $250K at the end of the year. Like, that's an amazing livelihood. Then having a $1 million a year business and parading that around where my revenue take home is only 10%, where my profit margin is only 10%, right? Because a 10% profit margin on a 7-figure business is $100,000 versus a 50% margin on a $500K business is $250K. So for those of you who dissociate with math, don't worry about it. All I'm saying is what you keep matters more than what comes in. So I wanted to share these 7 lessons with you. Whether you have a business or not, you can apply these to your life. Money life or otherwise. So number 1, we went last year from launching our signature program, Relaxed Money, which at the time of this episode going live, we are currently in enrollment for Relaxed Money. This is the one time a year when you can take this signature program and get my support, my coaching, and all of our frameworks and systems for healing your nervous system and creating the intuitive, easeful financial systems to grow your wealth, be confident and clear with your money, and really create a financial legacy that you are proud of, and to not only make good money, but also to be good with money. So that's happening right now. And you can go to relaxmoney.com to find out more about that. But In the past, we've done 2 Relax Money launches, and they're a big full court press endeavor. If you have been following along with the launch, you know there's a free live workshop. We have over 100 affiliates. We're running paid ads. We're doing organic social. There's email. It's like a whole song and dance, and it is a deep joy. I love doing it. And also, I would be lying if I said it's not a lot of work. And so we used to do it twice a year. And we made a bold move in 2024, and we decided to only launch Relax Money one time. Now, it was a risk because we didn't know if we would make enough revenue from the launch until the cart closed. But we made the statement that it was the only time you could join the program that year during the launch before we had closed cart. So it was a risk. The good news is we brought in almost double, like at least 80%. We brought in 80% more revenue from launching one time than we did launching twice. So we did half the amount of work and brought in not a full twice as much revenue, but nearly twice as much. This is a law of the universe. When we do less, but focus on the right things, we get a bigger results. It just works. So ask yourself, what is really moving the needle in my life? If it's in your business, if it's in your career, what really matters? And double down and do more of that so you can do less of the other stuff. Is there a way that you could increase the potency and give one thing your all as opposed to spreading your efforts over a lot of things? One of the things I noticed is because we were only doing the launch one time, I left it all on the dance floor. Like I went for it in a way I hadn't previously when we were doing 2 launches in the year, because I think I was unconsciously holding back a little bit to save up energy for the second launch. But because I knew that we're not launching again for an entire other year, I wasn't saving up anything. I gave it everything I had, and it was incredible. We had so much fun. And so we moved from a 2 launch a year model to a 1 launch a year model, and it really worked like a charm. It was also great for the team because we could all sort of like reserve our resources, and the whole second half of the year, we got to do all these other things. Like I finished a book proposal, and hopefully by the time this episode is recorded or is published, I have a new book deal. I'm just putting that out in the manifestation field. And we did all sorts of other fun things. So that was number 1, do less. Number 2, systems, structures, and boundaries equal freedom. So my friend James Wedmore says, the more structure you have in your business, the more freedom you have in your life. Stay tuned. If you're listening to this around the time it comes live, James has his Business by Design program launching very shortly, and he is the best at teaching those business structures for an online business for course creators, coaches, and healers, like that sort of thing. So keep an eye out for that. But the more structure you have in your business, the more freedom you have in your life. And I just have to tell you, it is true. This year, we tightened up so many things around our hiring practices, our internal systems, our operations procedures, our standard operating procedures, our scorecard, our metrics, our KPIs. We didn't like overly corporatize ourselves because quite frankly, that makes me want to vomit. But we did create the amount of systems and structures necessary to hold our small but mighty crew so that we can fall back and relax on the structures and the systems to hold us, very similarly to what I talk about with your financial systems. When we have strong intuitive systems in place, we don't have to think unnecessarily. We can use our thinking power for creative expression, for really high-level problem solving, for innovation. We don't have to be reinventing the wheel where it's like, oh gosh, what is it that I do again to get a podcast out the door? What is it that we do again for our launch? No, you create systems, standing operating procedures, so you can rinse and repeat and use your creative life force energy for things that really move the needle, right? So that's number 2 is systems, structures, and boundaries equal freedom. Number 3 is a quote from my friend Danielle Laporte, and it is the following: wide open heart, big fucking fence. So in this past year, we had a couple of scenarios where relationships took a turn. And I will not go into details on those, but I just really learned the earlier something starts to feel off that I pay attention, the better. So in a couple of scenarios, things started to feel off. My big sign was I started to feel confused in interactions with these people. And I started to second guess myself and be like, was that okay? Yeah, that was okay. That wasn't that big of a deal. And it was the confusion that was the sign for me, because I'm not a confused person in general. Like, I'm a very clear person. I'm clear. I know what's going on. My instincts are strong. But it was as though I had, in these interactions, it's as though like I had taken my boat into the Bermuda Triangle and my compass and my GPS were just like spinning fast in 360-degree circles. And I had lost sense of where was up, where was down, where was east, where was west. And so that confusion now I'm taking forward is my sign that if I'm feeling confused in a relationship, there's something that needs to change. And so that was my lesson number 3 was wide open heart, big fucking fence. Thank you, Danielle Laporte. My lesson number 4 is simplify to amplify. So in the past couple of years in our business, what's allowed us to take our business from the $1 million mark to the nearly $3 million mark while increasing our profit margins has been this: focusing in on one ideal customer, solving one core problem with one signature offer and one sales system. Now, I am sheepishly going to say, I watched some dear friends of mine follow that method for like the last decade. So, I've known Marie Forleo since 2009. I will never forget being on the way to the beach with her. I was sitting in the back seat of her Prius and she was like, hey, I had this idea. I think I'm going to teach an online course for women about marketing. What do you think? And I was like, yeah, sounds like a great idea. That was 2009. It is now 2025. She has been launching freaking B School for how many years is that? 14 years. The same program every year, the same customer, the same sales system. There is a reason Marie is a legend, right? Same thing with my friend Amy Porterfield. I've known Amy for 100 million years, probably since 2009, 2010 as well, somewhere in there. Amy has been launching Digital Course Academy for years in the same way, the same program for the same customer with the same sales system, solving the same problem. Now, I watched these women for years and I was like, their business model is so boring. I could never do that. But as a result, I ran around spraying my creative energy everywhere, coming up with 1 million different offers, using my creative energy in all of these different ways. And that is wonderful. That's my path. I actually really have no regrets. However, I had the model standing right in front of me for simplicity. And so over the last couple of years, I finally built up the somatic capacity, the somatic body, the nervous system capacity and circuitry to withstand the level of stability and ease that comes from simplicity in a business. And this level of simplicity with one core offer, which is Relax Money, has allowed us to make that core offer freaking amazing, to over deliver to our customers, to serve them, to focus on them, to make it everything it needs to be, and also to improve our marketing so that more people can find us, we can serve more people, and we can serve them more effectively. And what that's resulted in it is we don't need to work as much. We don't need to work as hard, and it has saved us tremendous amounts of time and energy. So that We have simplified so that we can amplify and magnify our results and our impact. And that has been huge in the last couple of years. Number 5 lesson, relationships are everything. I've always known this. I'm always going to know this. I have to say this is a sweet spot in my life. I have always felt like a billionaire when it comes to relationships. People I can call when I'm having a hard time, people I can call to have a party, people I can call with good news, with bad news. I feel mega supported when it comes to relationships. And this is an area of strength. And it hasn't always occurred to me that it's an asset from a business perspective. Like previously, I've witnessed colleagues having much more strict boundaries around like, oh, I can't meet this person, or, oh, I'm doing this thing, so I can't get together. And I blamed myself, or like I thought I was less professional or like less of a baller, right? Because I would go to cities and see a bunch of people, or I would make space to see someone when they were in town, even if I was doing something else. And it doesn't mean that, I'm a pushover or I don't have good boundaries, but I make the space for the people who matter in my life. I do. And I love that. And it fills me up personally. But what I realized over the last couple of years, and especially last year, is that one of the things that really has moved the needle for us is our affiliate program. We have a world-class affiliate program. And one of our affiliates, who's been part of many of the major affiliate launches in the online marketing industry for the past 15 years, told me that our affiliate experience was the most top level, pleasurable, easy experience that she has had in 15 years. And I am so incredibly proud of that. Now, the thing is that our affiliates bring in 51% of our Relax Money sales. So 51% of our Relax Money sales in the last year have come through affiliates. Relax Money accounts for 80% of our company's revenue. So because I know my numbers, and this is part of the medicine of Relax Money, and my entire philosophy is financial clarity, like knowing our numbers, because our numbers tell a story. Our numbers point us in the direction of what we need to do more of and where we can taper off, what we need to do less of. And what our numbers tell me is that 50% of 80% of our revenue, so a huge chunk, comes from treasured relationships with affiliates. And so I know moving forward that I can double down on my innate gift of being relational, right? And tending to those friendships. Of course, not all of my friends are affiliates. Somebody doesn't need to be my friend to be an affiliate. They don't need to be an affiliate to be my friend. However, there does happen to be some overlap between those two circles. And I also believe that when we operate in reciprocity in the world, when we participate in a reciprocal economy, where we are giving from an open heart, where we are giving from overflow, we do end up receiving. It doesn't mean transactionally from that same person, but it does mean we end up receiving that abundance elsewhere. And I really trust in that greater web of flow. So relationships are everything. And number six lesson is my theme of this year is to wear my crown. Now, what does that mean? Well, I've been at this for a long time. I published my first book in 2013. I'm not new. And one of the things that is super sweet about me, that I love about myself, is I have a real strong beginner's mind. If I go to a conference out there in the front row with my notebook, learning, taking notes, I always can learn something from everything. And I never assume that I know everything. I never assume I'm beyond learning from anyone or anything. And I'm a lifelong learner, and I love that. However, every light spot has a shadow. And the shadow of that is sometimes I can forget that actually I am incredibly established, that actually I've been in this industry for a long freaking time. I grew up here and I know what I'm doing. And I have in the past missed opportunities and wasted energy because I'm operating out of more of a scrambling energy of newness, as opposed to the rooted taking my seat energy of I've been here. It's actually my turn to take up space and to receive these opportunities. And so over the last year, I honed in really on an energy of not, I had said to one of my girlfriends at the turn of the new year, I was like, in 2025, I'm just going to act more like a big deal. And I was like, I like that energy, but it's not quite right because it has a bit of a, I don't know, like saying I need to act like a big deal has a sense of hierarchy in it. And I don't really love that. So I worked with my coach on coming up with the invitation for myself to wear my crown. Because what she was sharing with me, which I love, is a reflection that sometimes in the past I've been like, I have this crown. It's beautiful, but like, do you want to wear it? Do you want to take a turn with my crown? Oh, maybe I should put it down for a little while. Is somebody going to feel weird if I'm wearing my crown and they forgot their crown or whatever it was? And I was just like, that is so accurate. So instead, we came up with together my theme for the year of wearing my crown. And there's such a rooted stability in that. And she gave me the analogy in more of a tribal culture, in a smaller society, in more of a rooted culture where people used to live more in like groups of about 150 people. There would be a time where someone had come along through the process of development where it was simply their turn to lead. And it wasn't a matter of like, you're better than someone or you're worse than someone. It was just like, after you've been around for a while, you've just gathered the wisdom that it's your turn. And I was sharing with her that I have this problem with hierarchy. And I was like, I don't know, it feels weird. And she was like, well, you're just going to have to get over that because you get to now settle in that you've been here, you've been doing the work, you've been showing up consistently. I started a blog in 2010, so I've been showing up consistently since 2015. Since 2010 for 15 years. And she said, if it is your turn and someone has handed you your crown to put on, and you're handing it back to them and you're saying like, oh no, not me, da, da, da. She said, it's like handing a miracle back to God and saying essentially, I don't believe in the divinity that runs through me. And I don't believe in being a living expression of divine energy that wants to come through. And I really got it. And so this year is even further stepping into wearing my crown, but last year was a real developing edge around that, and it felt really good. It felt really good and edgy. Okay, and then number 7, again, our numbers tell a story. So when we looked at our launch metrics, and this is true whether you're looking at your family's expenses, whether you're looking at your earnings, your investment portfolio, whatever. The numbers tell a story. And if you don't look at the numbers, you miss the story and you miss out on all this critical intel that's going to tell you where to go next. And so we looked at the numbers, and a stat that was very interesting in our launch debrief after our Relax Money launch, the one we did, was that 76% of our buyers, so 76% of the people who joined Relax Money last year had been on our email list for less than 6 months. Now that's really interesting because previously I had thought that the success of our launches of Relax Money, the success of this program, I thought it was based on my longevity in the industry. I thought it was because I've just been around for a long time. And while I'm sure that doesn't hurt, it was so exciting to know that 3/4 of the people who raised their hand to say yes to Relax Money last year had been on our email list for less than 6 months, which means they are new to our community, which also means anything is possible at any time. So it may very well be that you listening to this right now just learned about our company and this work and the work we do last month or last week. Like, you might be new. And if that's the case, welcome, right? There's always, for all of us, anything is possible at any time. Our past need not determine our present or our future. At any point, we can interrupt the pattern, interrupt the unconscious habits, and create and write a new financial story for ourselves, a new love story for ourselves, a new health story for ourselves, a new family story for ourselves. We get to choose. But the way we allow ourselves, the way we tap into our ability and our power of choice is to heal our nervous system so that we can access our range of resonance and steward our resources as opposed to trying to control them or feeling controlled by them. So in summary, my 7 lessons of our highest revenue and highest profit year were: do less, system structure, that was number 1. Number 2 is system, structures, and boundaries equal freedom. Number 3, wide open heart, big effing fence. Number 4, simplify to amplify. Number 5, relationships are everything. Number 6, wear my crown. And number 7, anything is possible at any time. So on that note, I want to congratulate you for making it through this series. If you've listened to all 7 episodes, woohoo, go you. I am so proud of you. I know you are changed. You cannot engage with information like this without it shifting something inside of you. And if you are ready for the next step is Relax Money. That is a year-long container where I am going to give you the absolute best when it comes to healing your relationship with money with a neuroscience-backed approach that includes community, strategy, support, accountability, and a deep taproot for lasting change. All of that information is available at relaxmoney.com. Thank you so much for being on the journey with this series, and I will see you next time. Enrollment for Relax Money is officially open, but not for long. This is your once-a-year chance to join us live for the full transformational journey where you'll rewire your nervous system for sustainable wealth and ease. Build simple, aligned financial systems that actually feel fun, and release old scarcity patterns and step into a new normal of relaxed abundance. Money stress doesn't have to be your story anymore. You were made for overflow, not just enough. And if you know that in your bones, this is your invitation to step fully into it. Doors close May 1st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, and we won't open again until 2026. You can join us now at relaxedmoney.com. I would absolutely love to support you inside. Thanks for being here, and until next time, here's to plenty.